She turned her mind to envision Prince Jaquad, his angular nose, his well-trimmed black goatee, his thin lips, his shining black plate armor inlaid with golden piping that denoted him as a member of the royal family. At first, nothing happened. But as she stared, the reflection of the ceiling transformed into a scene of trees speeding by on both sides of a black-clad man. Hunched over the neck of a profusely sweating horse, his shrewd eyes were focused on the trail ahead. A second, riderless horse galloped along behind him, man and beast charging up a well-trodden roadway, one that looked unnervingly familiar. Prince Jaquad suddenly slowed his horse to a canter in front of a crude path that appeared to have been roughly hewn from the thick undergrowth. He looked up with a questioning scowl, searching for something. Jaquad's head jerked, his eyes appearing to lock onto her own. "What have you done, child?" Devious's voice sent sparks of terror coursing through her veins. She hadn't heard the old wizard approach. The scene in the bowl turned opaque, but she knew Devious had seen what she had. His face turned purple beneath his white beard and bushy eyebrows. "Do you realize what you've done?" She shook her head, afraid to speak. "You've alerted the dark air to your presence, as surely as if you stood in front of him and proclaimed yourself a windwalker." I didn't think." "You're damned right you didn't think. Have you not learned anything I've been teaching you?" "Why, yes, but—" "But nothing! He'll be coming for you. He'll have sensed you spying on him. Jaquad is no ordinary wizard." Devious trembled with rage. "What do you think he'll do when he discovers I'm the one who is instructing the last windwalker on her gift?" "But you're the High Wizard. Surely you—" "I'm not immortal! How long do you think the king will back me when he hears of this? Let me tell you, as long as it takes to stick my head on a pig pole." Reecah bowed her head in shame. "I'm sorry." Devious's chest falls came fast and heavy. He tilted his head and pointed a bony finger at her face, but bit back whatever he had planned on saying. He stormed over to the western-facing window, as if expecting to see the prince riding along the Kings Bay Road. Even Fleabag sensed she had done something terrible. She looked at the cat on the cushion, beseeching a friendly face, but Fleabag grunted and turned her head away. Reecah remained beside the scrying bowl until the sun rose high enough to gleam off the brass surface. She grasped the dark eye and made her way to Devious's side. "So, what now?" Devious tensed. When he finally spoke, she had to lean in to hear him. "We need to get you far away from here. I'm talking really far, or else he'll track your magical presence." "How can he do that?" Devious spun on her, anger in his light blue eyes, but he kept his tone in check. "What does it matter how? It's too late for such questions. You've seen to that. What matters now is preserving the dragon's last chance at salvation." He obviously spoke of her. She shook her head. "I can't go. I came to talk reason into the High King, to explain to him that what they're doing is wrong. If I leave, everything I've done will be for nothing." "Yeah? Well, you only have yourself to blame for that. I told you not to misuse your gift." Devious appeared on the verge of exploding. "You've been training with me for what? 10 days?" "A fortnight." "Great! A fortnight! It took you 2 weeks to break one of my steadfast rules." He threw his hands in the air and looked away. He turned back just as quickly, a bent finger held in front of her face. "It took Jaquad months before he was brazen enough to employ his magic to suit his own ends." "I'm sorry." "Little late for that." The atmosphere in the sunny chamber was anything but cheery. Devious left her by the window and searched through the large pages of a dusty tome sitting on its own table near the southeast-facing window. Fleabag got up from her bed and stretched, padding to a metal bowl on the floor to lap at the water within. Reecah remained by the western window, absently watching the tall ships come and go in the distant harbor at Seahold. Even from this distance, the Seagate Bridge stood out on the horizon. "Come here, girl." Reecah blinked a few times, afraid to move. She glanced at Devious.